My fingers froze on the piano keys as Principal Cassandra Holt's voice sliced through the Charleston Preparatory Academy auditorium, sharp as a blade. "Let's see if the janitor's daughter can actually play, or if she's just talk," she sneered, her words sparking laughter from the crowd of parents and students. I, Amara Clark, 14 and black, felt my heart slam against my ribs, every eye in the room pinning me to the stage like a specimen. Holt's icy stare dared me to fail, her perfect smile a mask for the cruelty I'd learned to expect at this elite, mostly white school. I wasn't supposed to be here, not in their world of tailored blazers and trust funds, but I sat at the grand piano, my thrift store dress itching against my skin, knowing this was a trap to humiliate me. Mom, Celeste, was out there, her janitor's uniform hidden under a borrowed coat, her eyes wide with fear. I wanted to run, but I thought of Dad, gone 5 years from a heart attack, his guitar riff still echoing in my dreams. I'd taught myself piano in secret, sneaking into the music room after Mom's shifts, my fingers finding solace in jazz and classical, a gift I hid from a school that saw me as less. Holt, with her obsession for prestige, had built her career on control, and my existence, a black girl who dared to shine, threatened her carefully curated order. It started weeks ago in history class, when Lucas Hargrove, the school board president's cocky son, scoffed that blues music was for old folks. I couldn't stay quiet. "Blues is the root of everything," I said, voice steady. "Muddy Waters, Bessie Smith, they gave us soul." Ms. Lena Torres, our Puerto Rican art teacher, nodded proudly, but Lucas's glare burned. His taunts, "Scrubber's kid," escalated, his friends taping mocking notes to my locker. I ignored them, pouring my anger into a memory cord journal, scribbling piano melodies that captured Dad's laughter, Mom's resilience, and my own quiet rage. I'd wander Charleston's Battery, sketching street musicians, their banjos and saxophones, a world where I felt free, but too scared to join. Holt caught wind of my classroom outburst, her ambition to crush any challenge fueling her plan. She'd called me to this parent council meeting, her voice dripping with fake encouragement, knowing Lucas had spread rumors I was all talk. The crowd's chuckles stung, but Mom's gaze anchored me. I closed my eyes, picturing Dad's hands on his guitar, teaching me chords at 7, his voice warm. "Play your truth, Amara." My fingers moved, unleashing a fusion of Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit and Chopin's Nocturne in C minor, the notes weaving grief and defiance. The music swelled, my heart pouring into each chord, silencing the room. Lucas's phone slipped, his smirk vanishing. Ms. Torres clapped first, tears streaming, her applause spreading like wildfire. Holt's face tightened, her plan backfiring as parents stood, their ovation shaking me to my core. Mom's hands trembled, pride battling worry. I stepped off the stage, legs wobbly, but Holt's whisper to Lucas's dad, her eyes glinting with malice, chilled me. She wasn't just a principal. She was a gatekeeper, her power rooted in keeping people like me out, and I'd just declared war. That night, Mom held me close, her voice soft. "You played like your dad was listening." But I couldn't sleep, the memory cord journal open on my bed, new notes frantic. Lucas's crew glared darker the next day, their whispers venomous, and I overheard Holt questioning Mom's work schedule, her tone sharp. I'd shown them my soul, but at Charleston Prep, that was a dangerous thing. I gripped Dad's old guitar pick, my fingers tracing its worn edge, knowing this was only the beginning of a fight I hadn't chosen. The applause from that night at Charleston Preparatory Academy faded, but its echo turned my life into a battlefield. I, Amara Clark, had played my heart out on that grand piano, proving I was more than the janitor's daughter, but Principal Cassandra Holt wasn't one to lose gracefully. Her polished exterior hid a ruthless streak, and she wielded her authority like a weapon, determined to crush the threat I posed to her pristine world. Days after my performance, I found my locker smeared with black marker, fraud. Lucas Hargrove's handwriting was unmistakable, his smirk in the hallway a promise of worse to come. He and his crew, sons of Charleston's elite, didn't just taunt me, they hunted me, their whispers of cheater and scrubber's kid slicing deeper each time. I wanted to shrink, to hide, but Mom's tired eyes, gleaming with pride despite her endless shifts, kept me standing. Holt, though, was the real danger. She'd built Charleston Prep into a monument to her ambition, curating a student body that mirrored her vision of wealth and whiteness. My music, raw and unpolished, had exposed her control as fragile, and she meant to bury me for it. She launched a residency investigation, her office sending letters questioning our apartment's location outside the district, each one a veiled threat to Mom's job. I overheard her berating Mom about irregular hours, her voice cold, knowing every jab pushed us closer to breaking. The Spring Arts Festival, the school's crown jewel, became her next weapon. New rules appeared overnight. Performers needed 3 years of formal training and certified exams, requirements I couldn't meet, my skills born from late-night YouTube videos and Dad's old sheet music. The music room, my sanctuary, was locked, a sign reading "Authorized access only," mocking my stolen moments at the piano. I felt the walls closing in, my memory cord journal filling with jagged melodies, each note a cry against the unfairness. Lucas's attacks grew bolder. In the cafeteria, he tripped, sending my lunch tray crashing, mashed potatoes splattering my shoes as his friends laughed. "Clean it up, janitor girl," he sneered, the word janitor a slur in his mouth. I clenched my fists, wanting to scream, but Ms. Lena Torres, the art teacher who'd clapped for me that night, pulled me aside. "They're scared of you, Amara," she said, her voice warm but fierce. "Your music shows them what they can't control." She offered to teach me music theory in her classroom, her sketchbooks filled with vibrant murals inspiring me to keep going. Her belief was a lifeline, but doubt gnawed at me. Was I good enough to fight this? At home, Mom hid her worry, her hands trembling as she sorted bills, but I saw the strain. "We'll get through, baby," she said, but her voice cracked. I couldn't tell her how Lucas's crew had cornered me in the hall, their shoves leaving bruises I hid under long sleeves. Instead, I poured my fear into a new idea, a secret music mentorship chat on my phone, where I connected with other students, sharing piano tips and stories of being overlooked. A classmate, Javier Ortiz, a shy guitarist whose parents ran a taqueria, joined first, his messages about feeling invisible mirroring my own. "Your playing gave me hope," he wrote, and I clung to that spark. Javier invited me to practice at his family's garage, where his sister's old keyboard became my new refuge, its sticky keys a far cry from the grand piano but enough to keep my music alive. Ms. Torres connected me to the Gibby's Art Center in Charleston, where a retired jazz pianist, Ms. Ruby Ellis, ran workshops. "You got fire, girl," Ms. Ruby said, her fingers snapping as she taught me to blend jazz improvisation with classical precision. Her studio, filled with vinyl records and faded posters, felt like a home I'd never known. I started a street music protest with Javier, playing Dad's favorite jazz standards on the Battery's cobblestone paths, our notes drawing curious tourists and locals. We called it Harmony on the Streets, a quiet rebellion against Holt's rules, our music saying what words couldn't. Passers-by dropped coins, but their smiles meant more, a reminder that my voice mattered. Yet, Holt's shadow loomed. She called Mom into her office, her questions about our address laced with threats. "We value integrity at Charleston Prep," she said, her smile a blade, knowing Mom's job hung by a thread. I overheard Lucas boasting about his dad's influence, how they'd fix the problem of kids like me. His words fueled my nightmares, my memory cord journal growing chaotic, melodies clashing like my racing thoughts. I wondered if I'd been foolish to play that night, if my music had endangered Mom's livelihood. One evening, as I practiced in Javier's garage, his mom brought us tamales, her warmth easing my fears. "You're like my son," she said. "You fight with your heart." Her words stirred something in me, a resolve to keep playing, no matter the cost. But the next day, I found a note slipped into my backpack, "Quit now, or your mom's out." No signature, but Holt's calculated cruelty was clear. She wasn't just fighting me, she was dismantling my world, her power a web I couldn't escape. I confided in Ms. Ruby, her eyes narrowing. "She's scared of what you represent," she said. "A black girl who's better than her best. MS." Ruby shared stories of her own battles in the jazz scene, her resilience a mirror to Mom's. I started sketching a new melody, one that wove their strength with Dad's spirit, a piece I called Unbroken Song. It was my answer to Holt's threats, a promise to keep going. But as I walked home, Charleston's oak-lined streets felt oppressive, Holt's influence everywhere. Lucas's crew watched me from a distance, their laughter a warning. I gripped Dad's guitar pick, its edges worn smooth, and vowed to fight, but fear clung to me. My music had lit a fire, but Holt was ready to burn it out, and I didn't know if I could protect Mom, my dreams, or myself from what came next. The weight of Principal Cassandra Holt's vendetta pressed harder each day, her icy grip tightening around my world at Charleston Preparatory Academy. I, Amara Clark, had dared to shine with my piano performance, but now I faced a storm I hadn't foreseen. The discovery of the vandalized grand piano, its strings slashed, a hateful racial slur carved into its glossy surface, felt like a wound to my soul. I knew Lucas Hargrove was behind it, his smug glance in the hallway a confession, but his taunt, "Better fix it, janitor girl," twisted the knife. I stood frozen, my fingers trembling, the music room no longer a sanctuary but a crime scene. Mom found me there, her face crumpling as she saw the slur, her arms pulling me close. "We'll fight this, Amara," she whispered, but her voice shook, and I saw fear in her eyes for the first time. Holt's shadow loomed larger, her ambition to maintain Charleston Prep's elite facade driving her to erase me. She escalated her residency investigation, sending officials to our apartment, their questions about our address a noose around Mom's job. Then came the eviction notice, taped to our door like a slap, demanding we leave in 72 hours, too perfectly timed to be chance. Holt's influence, I was sure, reached into every corner of Charleston, her power a web spun to trap us. The Spring Arts Festival, her prized showcase, was now a fortress, its new rules barring me with demands for credentials I couldn't produce. I felt like I was drowning, my memory cord journal filled with discordant notes, each melody a plea for strength. But Charleston's heart refused to let us fall. Ms. Lena Torres, the art teacher who'd cheered my performance, rallied allies, her fiery spirit a beacon. She introduced me to the Lowcountry Cultural Collective, a community hub in Charleston's historic district, where artists and activists gathered. There, Reverend Marcus Tate of Emmanuel AME Church proposed a Unity Showcase to rival Holt's Festival, a bold stand for kids like me. Local businesses, bookstores on King Street, cafes in the French Quarter, donated funds, instruments, and a rented grand piano, their generosity a shield against Holt's cruelty. Reverend Tate opened the church's community annex as our temporary home, his deep voice soothing. "This is your family now, Amara." Church members brought quilts and hot meals, their warmth stitching up the tears in my heart. I poured my pain into a new composition, Unbroken Song, a blend of jazz, gospel, and classical that traced my journey from silence to defiance. Ms. Torres, now teaching me in her art room filled with vibrant canvases, helped me refine it, her encouragement a steady hand. "Your music's a mirror," she said. "It shows the world who you are." Javier Ortiz, my guitarist friend, joined me, along with a drummer, Kayla Nguyen, whose parents ran a Vietnamese restaurant, and a singer, Malik Brooks, whose gospel voice shook the rafters. We rehearsed at the collective, our laughter and chords weaving a bond stronger than Holt's threats. Inspired by their courage, I launched a #HarmonyInMusic campaign, urging students to share videos of Unbroken Song online. The hashtag spread, clips popping up from kids across Charleston, their voices a chorus against exclusion. I led a sound mural project at the collective, recording Charleston's pulse, waves on the Battery, church choirs, kids playing in parks, to weave into my piece, a tapestry of community resilience. Kayla suggested a virtual, melody march, where we streamed our rehearsals, inviting strangers to join our fight. Hundreds tuned in, their comments, "Keep shining, Amara," lifting me when doubt crept in. But Holt struck back. She declared attendance at her festival mandatory for art students, threatening failing grades for those who chose the Unity Showcase. Teachers grew cautious, their eyes darting when I passed. Lucas and his crew turned vicious, shoving me against lockers, their whispers now threats, "You're done, cleaner girl." I hid the bruises, but Mom noticed, her silence heavy with guilt. Holt's cruelty peaked when she suspended Mom pending the investigation, her letter citing policy violations, but reeking of retaliation. I blamed myself, my music the spark that had endangered us. One night, as we unpacked in the church annex, I broke. "I should have stayed quiet," I sobbed. Mom knelt, her hands cupping my face. "Your dad played to change hearts, Amara. You're doing the same." Her words echoed Dad's guitar, but fear clung to me. Javier, sensing my struggle, shared his own story. His family's taqueria had faced boycotts for supporting immigrant rights. "We keep playing," he said, strumming a chord. Malik, whose brother had faced police harassment, added, "Your songs are fight, too." Their resolve fueled mine, but Holt's next move was chilling. She called a school assembly, her voice smooth as she warned of consequences for disrupting tradition. Her eyes locked on me, a predator sizing up prey. I learned she'd pressured board members, framing me as a troublemaker, her ambition to protect her legacy blinding her to fairness. Ms. Ruby Ellis, the jazz pianist from the collective, saw through it. "She's not just fighting you," she told me, her voice gravelly. "She's fighting what you prove, that talent don't need her permission." Ms. Ruby taught me to channel anger into my music, her stories of segregated clubs mirroring my battles. I sketched Unbroken Song's final bars, gospel chords soaring like Mom's prayers. But as the Unity Showcase neared, a note appeared in my bag, "Back off, or your mom's gone for good." Holt's hand was invisible, but her intent was clear. I confided in Reverend Tate, his calm steadying me. "Evil thrives in silence," he said. "Your music breaks it." Walking Charleston's cobblestone streets, I felt the city's history, its pain, its hope, urging me on. Lucas's crew watched from corners, their threats louder, but the hashtag Harmony in music videos kept coming, a digital army at my back. I gripped Dad's guitar pick, its edges my anchor, knowing Holt's war wasn't just against me, it was against every kid who dared to belong. My song was ready, but with Mom's job hanging by a thread and our home gone, I wondered if my music could carry us through the fire Holt was stoking. The air in Charleston crackled with tension as the night of the dueling showcases arrived, my heart a drumbeat of fear and hope. I, Amara Clark, stood backstage at the Lowcountry Cultural Collective, my fingers tracing Dad's guitar pick, the worn edges grounding me against the storm Principal Cassandra Holt had unleashed. Her vendetta had stripped us of our home, threatened Mom's job, and turned Charleston Preparatory Academy into a battleground, but tonight, my music would answer. Holt Spring Arts Festival was unfolding across town, a polished spectacle she'd crafted to cement her legacy, but her refusal to let a black girl like me shine had birthed a rival, the Unity Showcase, a defiant celebration of voices she tried to silence. Days earlier, Holt had summoned Mom and me to her office, her voice smooth as silk but sharp as glass. "Amara can perform at my festival," she'd offered, leaning back in her leather chair, "if Celeste admits to falsifying your address and resigns quietly." Her eyes gleamed, a predator savoring control, knowing the deal would break us. Mom's hand tightened on mine, her silence fierce. "We don't trade our worth," she said, echoing Dad's belief that integrity outlasts opportunity. We walked out, Holt's glare burning my back, her ambition to protect her elite world now a personal crusade. She'd pressured board members, twisted policies, and even leaned on local officials to evict us, her power a suffocating web. But Charleston's soul rose against her. The collective, backed by Emmanuel AME Church, had transformed into a vibrant stage, its folding chairs packed with families, artists, and activists, their faces a mosaic of hope. My band, Javier Ortiz on guitar, Kayla Nguyen on drums, and Malik Brooks on vocals, gathered in a harmony circle before the show, a ritual we created to share our fears. Javier spoke of his family's struggles, Kayla of her parents' sacrifices, Malik of his brother's dreams deferred, and I of Dad's music, my voice trembling. We play for them, I said, and we clasped hands, our bond a fortress. A live podcast, streamed by a local radio host, beamed our story nationwide, comments flooding in, Amara, you're our voice. The crowd swelled, spilling onto the street, #Harmony in Music banners waving. I peeked through the curtain, spotting Charleston Prep students, Javier's sister, Kayla's cousin, even kids I didn't know, who'd risked Holt's wrath to be here. Ms. Lena Torres sat in the front row, her mural-inspired scarf bright, her presence a promise. Most shocking was Lucas Hargrove's mother, Mrs. Hargrove, her face torn between duty and awe, defying her husband's alliance with Holt. Across town, Holt's festival unfolded in sterile splendor, chandeliers glinting over a half-empty auditorium. Lucas performed a rigid Bach prelude, his notes correct but hollow, the applause tepid. Holt, pacing backstage, checked her phone, her face paling as social media buzzed with Unity showcase clips. She'd underestimated us, her need to control blinding her to the community's strength. I stepped onto the collective stage, the rented grand piano gleaming under spotlights, my thrift store dress feeling like armor. A surprise guest, Charleston jazz icon Mr. Leroy Hayes, joined me, his saxophone weaving through my chords, his nod a blessing. I dedicated Unbroken Song to Dad, my fingers trembling as I began. The piece unfolded like a journey, jazzy whispers for my lonely days, gospel surges for Mom's faith, classical arcs for my dreams. The sound mural I'd crafted. Charleston's waves, choirs, laughter, wove through, a heartbeat of home. Malik's voice soared, Kayla's drums pulsed, Javier's guitar sang, our music a tapestry of defiance. The crowd leaned in, some weeping, others swaying, their silence sacred as the final chord rang. Then, like a dam breaking, they leapt up, their ovation shaking the walls. Mom rushed to me, her embrace fierce, tears wetting my cheek. You're unstoppable, she whispered. A Juilliard scout, Professor Elena Ruiz, approached, her card a lifeline. Your composition's extraordinary, she said. We need to talk. Media crews filmed, the podcast host's voice booming, this is history. I saw Mrs. Hargrove wipe her eyes, her presence a crack in Holt's armor. Back at Charleston Prep, Holt's festival limped on, board members absent, parents distracted by Unity showcase posts. Lucas, exiting the stage, overheard whispers of my performance, his confidence shaken. Holt's smile faltered, her dream of an untouchable legacy crumbling. She'd weaponized rules, fear, and power, but music had slipped through her grasp. I lingered with the crowd, their hugs and stories, grandparents recalling segregation, teens sharing dreams, filling me with purpose. Reverend Marcus Tate took the mic, his voice thunderous. Amara Clark shows us talent knows no boundaries. But I knew Holt wouldn't surrender. Her threat, back off, or your mom's gone, echoed in my mind, and the residency hearing loomed, a guillotine over our future. Javier pulled me aside, his eyes fierce. We're with you, Amara. Kayla and Malik nodded, their loyalty a shield. Ms. Torres handed me a sketch of a piano under Charleston's oaks, her art capturing my fight. I added a new chord to my memory journal, soft but resolute, a vow to keep playing. Holt's war was personal, her ambition a fire that burned those who dared rise. I'd won tonight, my music a beacon, but her next move would test everything, Mom's job, our home, my dreams. As I left the collective, Charleston stars above, I felt Dad's spirit, his guitar pick warm in my hand. The crowd's cheers still rang, but Holt's silence was louder, a promise of retribution. Could my song withstand her wrath, or would her power silence us for good? The Unity Showcase's triumph sent shockwaves through Charleston, its light shattering the walls Principal Cassandra Holt had built around Charleston Preparatory Academy. I, Amara Clark, had poured my soul into unbroken song, turning a stage into a declaration that a black girl's music could outshine hate, but the victory was only the beginning. Holt's defeat, her festival eclipsed by our vibrant stand, unraveled her carefully crafted empire. Her ambition, rooted in preserving an elite, exclusionary world, had blinded her to the power of community, and now she faced the consequences. The viral clips of our showcase, viewed millions of times, fueled a public outcry, with parents, activists, and even students storming school board meetings to demand change. An investigation exposed Holt's tactics. Targeting minority families with residency probes, diverting arts funds to favor wealthy students, her standards, a facade for discrimination. She resigned within days, her curt statement about New Horizons masking her bitterness. I caught her leaving her office, her eyes locking onto mine, not with regret but a cold defiance, a reminder that power like hers doesn't vanish, it lingers, waiting. The board reinstated Mom, Celeste, with back pay, their apology a hard-won acknowledgement of injustice. Music programs, once on the chopping block, were expanded, a new equity fund providing instruments and lessons for kids like me. Relief should have washed over me, but the wounds, our eviction, the vandalized piano, Holt's threats, cut deep. My memory cord journal, once frantic, now held tentative hope, but I wondered if my music had asked too much of Mom. She saw my hesitation, her calloused hands gentle on my shoulders. You made us proud, Amara, she said, her voice a lighthouse. Your dad's spirit's in every note. Her resilience, forged in years of unseen labor, urged me forward, and I vowed to carry her strength. The Lowcountry Cultural Collective became my haven, where I taught kids to play, their clumsy chords echoing my own beginnings. Ms. Lena Torres, her art room a riot of color, painted a mural of me at the piano, Charleston's oaks framing the scene, her pride a quiet flame. My bandmates, Javier Ortiz, Kayla Nguyen, Malik Brooks, remained my rock, our rehearsals now dreaming up new melodies. Javier launched a youth advocacy group at his family's taqueria, fighting for immigrant students. Kayla, her drums a heartbeat, started a girls' music club, her confidence blooming. Malik, his gospel voice a prayer, joined Emmanuel AME's choir, his faith inspiring us all. Their paths, woven with mine, showed what we built together. I created a Harmony Notes app, coded with a collective volunteer, linking young musicians for free lessons, its users stretching from Charleston to Memphis. I founded the Celeste Clark Harmony Fest, a free festival on the Battery, where jazz, bluegrass, and Gullah spirituals danced under the stars. Mom, radiant as she hosted, laughed freely, her joy healing us both. Reverend Marcus Tate blessed the event, his words, "Music is our freedom, a truth we lived." Professor Elena Ruiz from Juilliard returned, offering a full scholarship to their pre-college program, my compositions her proof of my potential. I performed at Charleston's Gallard Center, Unbroken Song now a polished anthem, its chords carrying Dad's love and Mom's courage. The ovation lifted me, but teaching kids at the collective felt truer. I launched a Letters to Dad campaign, asking fans to share stories of loved ones, their words, "Your music gave me hope," a tapestry of connection. Lucas Hargrove, exposed for the piano vandalism via Kayla's cousin's video, was suspended, his influence fading as peers turned away. His mother, Mrs. Hargrove, joined the festival committee, her quiet apologies a step toward amends. Charleston Prep changed under new leadership. Ms. Torres and Mom led a diversity council, their concerts uniting district schools in song, a new era dawning. I collaborated with a Gullah poet, her words blending with my jazz, our art a celebration of roots. At 40, I stood on the Kennedy Center stage, part of a young composer's showcase. Mom, my daughter, and my bandmates watched, there cheers my home. My new piece, Roots Unbound, wove gospel, jazz, and Gullah stories, a Charleston reborn through music. As I played, I thought of our journey, Mom's sacrifices, Dad's legacy, the collective's embrace. Holt's racism had tried to define me, but I'd learned lessons that outlasted her. Courage grows in community, talent shines brightest when shared, and dignity is a flame no hate can douse. My music hadn't just saved me, it had carved paths for others, proving no barrier is unbreakable. I looked at the audience, their faces diverse and hopeful, and felt Dad's spirit, Mom's pride, my own truth. If you were in a situation like mine, young, underestimated, with a gift to share, how would you face it to forge the best outcome? I added a final chord to my journal, clear and eternal, a note for every voice we'd raised, our song a legacy of love, resilience, and change that would never be silenced.